So what I'm showing you right now is basically what we call a dashboard. What a dashboard tries to do is, it tries to bring in everything that we have ever done for a client. You know, right from the simple thing like, what is the name of the client, right, to what is his objective. Three, how we are approaching those objectives. You know, four, what methodology are we using to achieve that, right? I don't want to go through each one of them because I've already done that once. But if you have a doubt in any of these things, please ask me. What is the methodology? So we have a top-down methodology where we connect, the top guys. So for example, Muhammad and Zamzam are going to represent, the two CXOs, for our client, Freya. Zach and Jean-Marie are going to represent the bottom-up approach for one of our clients that we are talking to. I'll show you that. So it's basically, how do we, represent? Give me 1 second. Vivek, can you let these people in when they come in, or not possible for you to do that?
Yeah. I'm just saying, not a problem.
Okay, cool. Thanks. So that's the methodology, right? So a top-down approach and a bottom-up approach, right? And then also here I'm saying, what is the value that we are creating for a client? It's always good to capture. We keep on doing work, but we also need to capture, what is the value of the work that we are doing for our client, right? So assuming that, the client values the work that we do at $10 per customer, $10 per customer, when we connect to them, assuming that he values it at $20 per customer when we engage in a conversation with them, and assuming that that the value that he gets out of a customer is $1,000 per customer, right? This is the total value that we are deriving for the company. So we are deriving through our work. We are delivering a value of $12,120, $6,000, and $30,000. So totally $48,000 worth of value is what we are delivering for the client. I mean, this is a notional value. This is not a real value, but nevertheless, I think, it's really important to sort of, keep showcasing the value that we are, delivering. It's always a good, good thing to do. So,
the team need to understand what is value in the first place. I don't know whether they understand.
Anybody has an idea? I mean, can you guys understand what this is? Not real value, right? This is more like, for example, when the client hires you, he pays $100 to hire you, right? That's a real cash, real money that he pays us in order to hire you, right? Then you do some work, but we don't really capture the value of your work, right? I mean, how do we? So basically, whatever work that you do, so you do 3-4 work, right? You basically contact them. So first you identify them, the number of customers. Then you contact them. Then they connect back with you. Then you engage in a conversation, and then they convert into a customer by buying something from the client that we work for. You guys understand these 4 things, right? Connecting, contacting, connecting, engaging, and converting. That's really important, right? I'll pause here for a minute. So what we are trying to do, we are trying to put a value, a dollar value, right? We are so for example, we are having this meeting. The dollar value of this, there is no money associated with this meeting, right? But if we calculate that each one of us spend at least 1 hour in this meeting, and each one of us is worth $100 per hour, or $10 per hour. If 10 of us are there in this meeting, we have spent $1,000 worth of value in this meeting just by coming in this meeting. So it's always good to associate dollar value to everything that we do. right? And especially if this is because otherwise the client over a period of time will not will completely forget what did we really give them, unless the unless we are being very chatty and keep on telling him every day what we are doing, right? Which is also not good. So I try to create a formula like this to understand what is the assuming the so you should be able to read English, right? Assuming an average value of $10 per customer, we have connected with 1,212 customers, delivering $12,120 in value. Same thing, assuming the value of an engaged customer as 20, we have engaged with 300 of them, right? What it means is 300 of them are talking back and forth out of the, so that's what it means, right? So the numbers that are here are just, this value, the $10, the $20, and $1,000 is something that we agree with the client right upfront. So that, the client after, let's say, 6 months or 12 months, the client doesn't go back and say, no, you're not producing the $48,000 value that you're saying, because, this is not true. The client can always say that, but we try and agree with the client, what is the real value of a customer who's connected with you? What is the real value of a customer who's engaged with you? What is the real value of a customer who... The third one, usually the third one, nobody can, dispute the third one, because the third one is when the rubber meets the road. So, for example, Mohammed, if you remember, for Fryer, the customer that who wants to start, from tomorrow, for him, the value of the product that we are selling is $100. If you remember that cosmetic campaign that we are launching from Monday, the value he has not, I don't know whether he told this number already, but what I know from my previous conversations with him is the value. So you launched this cosmetics campaign, and when a customer comes in and he buys that stuff out of Fryer, it's actually $100 a month, right? So every customer we convert for Fryer will be $100. So it won't be $1,000 for Fryer, it will be like $100, like this. So if we convert 30 of them, it will be $3,000, right? I hope you guys are able to understand, this, right? I mean, I'm just explaining this list because this is going to be the core of our day-to-day work that we continue to do. Okay, so just understand this and ask me questions, if you have anything, right? So if you look at the thing, it says a client is Area 9, Kuram Jamil, right? That's a person that we are working for, and the company name is Area 9. So yesterday, myself and Bahana had a meeting with Kuram. I don't know whether Bahana is there already.
Yeah, I'm in, Anis.
You're in. Cool. So yesterday, Bahana and me had a meeting. He is the president of this company, and he's also a owner of this company, this Kuram Jamil. He continued our meeting. It was supposed to go for 30 minutes. It went for more than 1 hour, 15 minutes. He kept on canceling the other meetings that he had, because of the interest we generated while creating this dashboard. We sat with him, myself and Bahana, like this, exactly the same way I'm doing it with you. And we built this bottom-up list, right there with him, just with him, right? So the kind of interest, and he said something, Bahana, I don't know whether you heard this properly. He said, I have a sales team of 22 people, right? And he said, for the first time, I'm seeing, a very clear feedback on the work that you have done. Right, he was telling Bahana that, obviously he was really appreciative of what Bahana has done for the last, 4 months or 5 months since, he has hired Bahana. But he said, nobody has given such a clean feedback. For example, look at this. This is all the industries that, that Area 9 is supposed to sell, Kuram is supposed to sell. Not only that, right? Look at these numbering. I hope this sheet is clear, right? Oh, I don't know. Sorry, Jean-Marie, I think you asked for control and I gave it to you. Please give it back to me. So, hey, sorry, 1 second, guys. If you guys have any questions, please, feel free to, type your questions also. I'll try to see it, from time to time. I don't know how to ask for control again. Okay, fair enough. Let me just, let me continue. So, oh God, then this is going to record my. Can you see my cursor? The cursor is having my face. Or you guys?
Yeah. I think you have changed the cursor somehow.
No, I don't. I didn't. No, I didn't. I didn't. I think Jean-Marie just suddenly asked for control, and I gave control. Okay, fair enough.
Now it is better. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks. So, Bibek, please ask any doubts it might come in your head, right? Because even I was quite shocked, right? I didn't expect Khurram to spend so much time, in telling, So when I entered the meeting, we just had like the first few things like this. We didn't have all these things, right? But he sat and discussed what is important, what is his product. So his product is adaptive learning, right? It's a learning package. He said my number one thing for me is, priority is healthcare division. I want to, sell my adaptive learning idea to all the top healthcare companies in the world. All the vaccine manufacturing companies, all the, hospitals, all the, those kind of things. And we identified that for Khurram, there are 230,000 customers, right? Of which he has connected through Bahana 263, a small minuscule number. This only I think this blew him off, right? He has so many people to connect to, but he has only connected with just 263, right? And we are still working on how many of them are engaged and how many of them are, converting. And where are these 230,000 people? If you click on this, you will see those 230,000 people, right bang in the, in the screen. So it's not like, some hidden 230,000 people. They are right there for you with every single thing, right? Can you see this? 230,000. So this is not some kind of a fictional 230,000 number. You know the name, the division, the title, the country of each one inside this 230,000 people left, right? So that's what makes this whole thing powerful. So basically, as I've already told you, this is the entire, list of people that he needs to, talk to, or rather, the Area 9 as a company has to talk to, right? And the priority is healthcare is a number one priority. And if you see the number two is not, energy, it is pharma, very closely associated with healthcare. And number three is medical devices. I hope you can see this, right? Let me do one thing, right? Let me just sort it from the right way, right? If I sort this, so I hope you can understand what I'm trying to do this. So this becomes your everyday working sheet, every day live. This will be live. I can now go to Kisha and Izra's sheet as well, right? Because they are doing the exact same thing. So how does your client know what you're working on, and how do you know what to work on, after you're finished what you're doing right now? So this becomes your, the end-to-end story of what you're, doing, right? So I hope you're able to understand, right? Why are we calling this bottom-up list? Anybody want to give it a shot? Why this list is called the bottom-up list, and this list is called the top-down list? Anybody who wants to, give it a shot? Like, why are we having two lists? Why can't we just have one list? Anyone? Yeah, Isra. Looks like this. Yeah,
Oh,
Isra, we can
okay,
hear you.
Mr. Anis, can I give it a try?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Who is talking? I or anyone else?
Yes, yes, yeah. You can say the answer, Isra.
Okay, for the bottom list, we can say it because these are all the services that are offered by the client, like how many departments he's working with. On the top list, these are the departments that you were assigned to do currently. Not all, but the few parts that you were told to do currently. And then on the bottom, these are all the services that are offered by the client, but you are not yet assigned to do them all.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Isra. Anyone else wants to give it a shot?
Yes.
Yes, Bahana, please go ahead.
Yeah. Can I give it a try?
Yes, of course we can give it a try. You stayed for 90 minutes, so you better know the answer.
It's
Yes.
crazy. Yeah, of course. I think from my own understanding, we are segmenting this in bottom up and top down list. It's because in a company there are different section of leadership, and the bottom up, these are the people who are working in the management sector, and the top down, these are, let's say, the CEOs, the top leadership team. So, and this is why we are doing this. It's because, like for the case of, Quran, we want to connect with, the direct people, the top leadership, like the CXOs, the CEOs, the chief learning officers, the people that, influence the organization, the people that can take, decision on, let's say, buying the product, or, engaging the organization and so on. Yeah, people that align with with the Quran's rank. Let me say that, and the bottom up lists. These are the managers in the team, the directors, and so on, that can also connect with other managers in other organizations.
That's a very, very good answer. That's a very good answer, Mahanam. So let me ask everybody another question. Why two lists? Why can't we put everything in one list? Why are we separating them like this? Yes, I understand. One is top management, top. So this is all the top managers in a company, top down, and bottom up is all the people who are managers, directors, senior managers, just one level below the top, right? One level below the top. Why are we like doing these two separate lists? Why can't we just put them all in one big list?
So let me try.
Yeah.
Yes, as to my understanding that the two lists are separated because there is one that we can give priority. You can either give priority to bottom up list,
awesome,
or give
very
priority
good
to top down.
Yes,
list.
Kisha, the answer is priority. That's it. Amazing. It's priority. That's it. If Bahana went to connect with all these people, 734,000 people, it will take him 73 years. Can anybody tell me why it will take 73 years for Bahana? Is he going to?
Yes, I think it's gonna take me all the years. This is based on our strategy and our approach. Because with our end-to-one approach, we aim to send to connect at least with 40 potential clients in a day, and so which means in a year, if I'm not wrong, this goes up to around 1,000 or 10,000. I don't have it in mind.
Bahana, come on. It's not 1,000. It's 10,000 a year.
10,000 a year. Yes.
Yes, that's
10,000 a year. Yes.
So you're right. So there is one more minute difference I want you to know. See, when you want to sell a product, right? Let's say, I hope this is easy to understand for everybody. When you want to sell a product, okay, let's take the example of this Area 9, right? If you take Area 9, they are selling a software, and the software is a learning software. Okay, they give this software to big companies so that the employees of the company can learn and become skilled in their work. Okay, it's a adaptive learning company. What it does is it adapts to the individual needs of the employee, so that one employee, he learns in 20 minutes, the other employee learns in 40 minutes, one more employee takes 4 hours to learn the same thing. So what it does is it keeps adjusting. So the tagline of the company is never leave anyone behind. Never leave anyone behind while learning. So he's also telling me to use his software. He says StepUp should use his software, right? Because we don't want to leave anyone behind, right? So that's what he's saying. So when you're trying to sell such a software, who will you sell that to? Will you go and sell that to the chief executive of, let's take a healthcare company,
No.
Pfizer?
No, Alice, I think that's what I was trying to explain. Because in every organization, there are departments, and there is a person who is championing, who's heading that department. Let's say if there is, in case of Area 9, for example, we have the chief learning officers. These are the people who decide on development and professional development of the employees. So this is the person who buys the product and maybe suggests it to the top management, the president, the CEOs, and all this person. So the person who engaged the organization in this is actually the person who is in charge of that department, who take care of the employees in that particular area, not the CEOs. So the CEOs in this area might not be a priority, but the person in charge of the learning or in charge of that particular sector, that Area 9 is trying to solve to sell to the world. I think that's
absolutely right. Okay. So, the point, Mahana, I'm just trying to make a point, when you are trying to sell anything, even when you are trying to sell something in the camp, there is somebody, that you are selling it to. Maybe the person who's walking to the meat shop, right, is the person that, is choosing the meat, the right meat, she or he is going to buy. But maybe the order came from someone else, so basically the way it works in the world of businesses, these people, right, the CEOs and the top people, they are making some decision at the top. So you have to influence their mind. You have to influence their mind, and you have to make long-term relationship with these people. Correct? The top-down people here.
Correct.
Right? But at the end of the day, these are the people who are buying from you. These people. They are the ones who are writing the check. They are the ones who are talking to you every day. They are the ones who are So, for example, if you take the example of StepUp also, Kuram is Area 9 president. He's not the chief executive of Area 9. In fact, I actually spoke to the chief executive, Ulrich. And then Ulrich said, talk to Kuram. And then Kuram gave the job to Bahana. Right? So you can, yes, I think it's really important for you to understand this, this idea, right? The bottom-up list will be in millions of people, correct? So in this case, the actual number is 7 million people, okay, for Area 9 as a company. What it means is Area 9 as a company can sell their product to more than 7 million people across the globe. Okay, that's this bottom-up list. If Bahana has to go after every one of these 7 million people, it will take him 700 years. Right? It will take him 700 years. Right? So what we are telling them is, instead of only Bahana, hire 700 more people so that they can cover all your people in 1 year. Right? So that's one thing. Right? The second thing we are saying is this. Look at the number of people they have here. It's really easy. How many chief learning officers are there across the world? across the world, across all industries? Only 3,000. How many directors of learning and development are there across the world? Only 84,000. It's a small number compared to 7 million. How many chief human resources? 14,000. If you combine all of these things, these are not big numbers, right? So as soon as Khurram saw this number, you know what he said? He said, okay, that's fantastic. He said, Vahana, stop connecting with all these people. It's okay. I have a lot of salespeople, 22 salespeople in my team. We will connect, using them at some point in time. But for me as the president of the company, okay, let's start going this order. First, Chief Learning Officer, Director of Learning and Development, then Chief Human Resources Officers. Let's do these three first before we go to this, right? So we're gonna do that for him and the thing, right? But again, like I said, right, this is the starting. We start with the bottom-up list, which is nearly 7 million. But when we split them sector by sector and assign the importance of the sectors that you want to chase, there are only 700,000 people that we are trying to chase. And the top down again is split like this, 311,000 people. Obviously, this can also be sort of streamlined. This is way too many top people. Okay, so for example, this Director of Human Resources is something that we need to tune up. It's a big number. It cannot be 210,000 people. I feel like Khurram doesn't need to connect with so many of them. It needs to come down, Vahana, to maybe 20,000 people, something like that, right? So we have to look at the query here and make it better. It's way too many people. When you're looking at the top down list, we should not go more than let's say 20,000, 10,000. That's the right number for any top down list, right? Okay, fair enough. We have done that. So we have seen who are the people that we want to connect with to sell our product. Who are the people with whom you want to have a long-term relationship with to influence their minds. With the top people, you try to typically influence people's mind. Here you are trying to sell something quickly. I hope that is clear. Any questions on these two before we move down to by country, then by engagement? Any questions, guys? Any thoughts? Any comments? Let me pick up Keisha's sheet. Keisha and Isra are using this sheet, right? So yeah.
Yes, Anis. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Jean-Marie.
Okay, I think just a comment and a clarification. Maybe we are now trying to, if I can take up where Akiza said that it's also a kind of prioritizing. This is why we make bottom and up, maybe and the down and up. I think we are also trying to narrow down, maybe to get the search number that LinkedIn can allow. Is that also okay?
No, sorry, Jean-Marie, can you come again? I mean, there is a little bit of a distraction in your thing. Yeah. Can you again ask the question?
Yeah, I was asking if this can help the other strategy of giving it the number of group up to bottom. It also helps maybe to narrow down the search number that LinkedIn can help.
Oh yeah. No, sure, Jean-Marie. I think I'm coming to that point. Okay. Jean-Marie, I think question Jean-Marie is asking is why are we splitting it so many times, and there is a LinkedIn limitation of 2,500 people in any search, right? So that is why we have to break every segment to a segment. So if you look at this segment, sustainability, it's 620,000 people. Okay, if you look at this, it's only 1,000, right? So anything that has so big, like 620, we take that 620 and we break it up into 10 parts. Okay, and then we take this part, sustainability in India, 21,000 people, we break it down into 10 more parts. Until, look at this, I broke down sustainability, India, everything is 2,500 or, somewhere close to 2,500. Yeah. Okay. So if you look at if you look at this, right, I think this is Kisha and Isra's worksheet. So they are using this every single day. They're updating this. You can see that it is not anymore a playing sheet. It is a real sheet. They're updating. All the thing that they're updating here is when a client is starting to engage. They are, asking their client, how to engage back with them. Okay, what is the answer that, so this is the question that they've got from their clients, and this is the answer they need to give. So they're recording the question and answer for every client who's engaging in a conversation. Why are they doing it like this? So that they both, Isra and Kisha, they can learn more about the company, and one day, maybe one day in the future, maybe 1 month down the line, 2 months down the line, 3 months down the line, they do not need to go back to their client and ask him for an answer. Is that clear? So every different question, these are all different questions their client, people are asking. So Isra is trying to find out what is the answer for each of these questions, from their, from their clients. Let's say if Isra has known like 30 different answers like this, then maybe, one day in a month from now, she knows the answer for every kind of question that, she will encounter. Okay, cool. All right. Any other questions, guys? I'll just, quickly try to go back, So it's exactly, so this target list, right? This list is going to be, really important for you guys, to create it, to maintain it, to communicate the same sheet with your client every day, every week, every month, right? So this is going to be your a living, breathing document for every client. So every client. So this is for Spectralite. So in fact, in one of the calls we prepared, we prepared we prepared the one for Frere. The one Zach and Jean-Marie and Mohammed and Zamzam are going to work, right? So that one is this, right? So very precisely, what are the 5 divisions, and what are the top down, and who's going to work, right? It's I hope it's clear. Let me just finish this sheet. We took area 9. I don't think we have done the other parts. I'll take Spectralite as an example and explain the other thing. So you start with the bottom up list. Every single guy who can ever buy anything from thing, right? And then every single person who is a CEO kind of a candidate that they need to connect to. So we have covered the bottom up and the top down, and then we start breaking it up. We start breaking it up into countries. So this is the country list, guys. I hope you can you can understand, right, what I'm trying to do here. So we did the top down, we did the bottom up, then we go by country. Let me just copy this, right? So this is by country. Yeah, this is by country. Yeah. So why are we breaking it by country? So that we know again.
There are a few questions in the chat. Maybe after this you can take that.
Sure. How can I get the first client? Yeah, Mohammed Abdi. Yeah, you should be able to get the answer when you go through the some of the training we have done. So let me answer this question, right? It's really an important question, right? There are 2 forces acting on getting the first job. One, people like me, Bibek, Ashma, Taylor. There are like 50 of us who are reaching out to the respective clients in each of our countries to find a job for you. So that is one pathway that is going on. But the more important part, Muhammad Abdi, is you will start looking and finding your own job, right? Because I think in my view, the second is what is going to make Step Up One successful. So, for example, Keisha, Isra, Fahana, Nial, they are reaching out to potential clients every single day, and we agreed that you will reach out to at least 40 clients every day. So you keep reaching out to 40 potential clients every single day, and to get a job. So there are two forces. One, people like me who are trying to get you guys a job. That's one, but that force is a weak force, right? Because at the end of the day, that will never scale. Yeah. But the one that will scale is the force where you are in charge of your own destiny, right? Where I give you a list of more than 2,000 clients that you go and knock their doors and talk about Step Up and find a job for yourself, right? That force is the force which will scale and scale in a big way. So these are the two ways you can actually get the job. I hope that answered the question. Oh, Anthony is also here. So I think Maraka or Anthony, I don't know how to call him, but yeah, cool. So why are we breaking down by country? Again, we are breaking down by country for two reasons. One, to make the numbers smaller. So if you look at it, right, this is many segment. I'll keep taking just one segment, right, sustainability, so that you can see everything. So if I take sustainability here also, then you can understand everything in such a easy way. So you look at all these things in one go. Yeah. So bottom up list sustainability 620,000 people. Top down sustainability only 1,000 people, right? Now this 620,000 people are hidden in each of these countries: India, US, UK, Netherlands, Germany, France, everything. And then the client has given the priority, right? He has said India is priority number 1. So these 21,000 people has to be contacted first, then US, then Netherlands, then UK, and so on and so forth. So the priority by country is also very clear. Then what we do, we take the first one, India, which is 21,000 people, and break it down like this, and go to these 2,336 people. And look what Keisha has done already. These two are Keisha's rows. Of these 2,336 people that he needs to connect to, 2,096 has already been connected. Contacted. Of that, 658 have connected back. 581 are engaging back. 0 converted. Because don't worry about the 0. This will mostly remain 0. If Mahadev gets one client in 6 months, this is a long cycle, right? So this is not like go to the shop and buy one small thing. These are all $1 million businesses. So it will take a long time for this to happen, right? Cool. So this is the breakup strategy, guys. We have to break it up until Hey Zach, just I'm going to put you on mute, Zach. So that if you don't mind. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Zach. Whenever you want to talk, you can unmute yourself, Zach. So I guess you guys understand this clearly, right? I think now that I'm only showing you sustainability in the bottom up, sustainability in the top down, sustainability per country, and sustainability within that country. The list is broken into the 2,500 limit, right? So right now Keisha is working on these two lists. He finished this list, then he'll go to this list, and then he'll come to this list. Why all these things are empty? Because he has a lot of time to finish just the first two. Once he's finished the first two, then he'll come to the third one, and then he'll put the number of people. He will and what is Isra doing? She's got another list. She's not doing sustainability. She's doing packaging. So how do I show that? 1 second. What is Isra doing? She is doing, the non-sustainability. Let me remove sustainability so that yeah, packaging. So, yeah, correct. So this is what Isra is doing. Look at what she has done so far. She has already finished contacting every single person important in the packaging segment across the whole of Sweden. There are 784 people. She's contacted all 784. Right? These numbers are wrong. Actually, we need to correct them. They're more than 100 people have connected back already. So these are wrong numbers. Right? And similarly, Finland 296. She's finished 296. In UK 1500. She's getting started both. And then she'll continue, with the next set of things as she. So I guess you are able to now appreciate, what Kisha is doing for Mahadev and Isra is doing for Shruti. Is that clear, guys, to everybody? I guess this is how you will create. So, in fact, what we are beginning to think is, preparing this dashboard even before a client has hired you gives you an unbelievable clarity on what we are going to do with our clients, right? The next big client for us is.
Hello, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This is only for one client.
Yeah, it's for. So you see this. This is one client. Spectralite is the name of the client, and this is for another client. You see, the client name is the first name that comes, everywhere on the top here. You see, this. There is a separate.
Okay.
There is a separate sheet for everybody. Look at this. This is Freya. So, because you are not going to share. Let's say if Mohammed and Zach are working for one client, then they have to keep it really secretive. Between the client and them, they can't be sharing it with all the other clients. You understand? If Kisha and Isra are working with one client, it is their client, and so this sheet will only be available between the client and the people who are working for the client. It won't be available to everybody in the team. Okay, so you have to. So when you get your own client, you will prepare something like this for your own client.
Okay.
Cool. Any other questions, guys? I think it's pretty clear to me. It is a direct and easy thing. You should be able to understand this. Cool. So I think that's pretty much what I wanted to tell you guys with respect to creating the dashboard. But say for example, I'll just spend 5 more minutes on just Mohammed's client, because it's going to start anytime. So we have done this, right? The last meeting, I think a bunch of you guys were there. We sat with the chief executive of Freya, this company, and we went through all these things, right? We said his company has to sell to these 5 segments. Each segment has all these numbers, and we need to connect with 1.85 million people. And what did he say? He said, let's start with cosmetics. Let's connect with every single person in the 350,000 people. So Zach and Jean-Marie are going to start for the cosmetics division, right? And where is the link for this? It's here, right? So they're going to start here.
Sorry, Alice.
Yeah.
I have a question, and the one of Bahana had say 700 plus thousand people. Is he going to take it all that number? You said it's going to take him 70 some years to finish it. So how is he going to reach that target?
Yes, you have a very good question. Yeah. So that is why this approach is super important, right? This is the 2 people who are going to start this division, right? Cosmetics one, and it's 350,000 thing. So even with, let's say, if only Jean-Marie is going to do this, it will take Jean-Marie 35 years. Yeah, 35 years. It will take Jean-Marie 35 years. But because there is Zach also along with him, it will take him 17 years, right?
So you mean you're going to divide it in like you give someone else a certain part of a piece of it.
Yes.
Is
So
that
the
it?
client is taken this particular line, the cosmetics line. I hope you guys are able to see that I've marked it out. So he's taking the 350,000 people, customers, and giving it to Zach and Jean-Marie. And because there are two of them instead of one, they will be able to finish all the 350 in 17 years. Which is like a long, long time. Nobody wants to wait for this 17 years. So the idea that we have is we start with Zach and Jean-Marie, okay, to begin with, see how they go for the first 1, 2, 3 months, right? Where can we track it? We can track, everything that they're doing here, right? How they are connecting, how they are contacting, how many people are, so look at this. So if you look at Zach and Jean-Marie, it's precisely agreed. If you look at this one, it's very, very clean. Jean-Marie is going to start in the UK. Can you see? He's going to start with the UK CXO, then go to UK partner, UK owner, and each of them, how many customers are there. And what is Zach is going to do? He's going to start with US, and even in US, California, right? California CXOs, California owners, California partners, California directors in the cosmetics industry. So Jean-Marie is going to do this. Zach is going to do this. And within like a month, within maybe 2-3 months, they should be able to finish this off. Once they finish it off, these numbers will be clear. So let me just put some numbers, right? Let's say Jean-Marie starts with the UK CXOs. He is able to connect with all 1,000 people, okay? Because there are 1,000 people, he is able to connect with all of them. Say 30% of them, connected back with Jean-Marie, in this thing. And then after that, 30 of them, no, maybe not 30, maybe 100 of them are talking to Jean-Marie, about this cosmetic thing, right? And 10 of them converted, meaning 10 of them went and bought the product, okay? So what Jean-Marie has done in this one simple campaign that he has run for only the UK CXOs, he has converted 10 people, within 1 month, okay? And 10 people, if they bought, the cosmetic product, it's $1,000 together, okay? So what Jean-Marie has done is, the client has paid us $100 for Jean-Marie's work, but he has paid the client $1,000 by winning 10 customers. Yeah. So, and let's say Zach, who's here, is even more successful. He contacted 2,500 people, and more than 1,500 connected back. Sorry, 1,500 connected back, and 200 engaged, and 30 people bought the product. So, which means Zach has been even more successful than Jean-Marie in his first month itself, because more than 30 people have bought his product, or rather bought the cosmetic product, that Zach is campaigning for. So what the client then does is, wow, this is amazing. Let us not just have only Jean-Marie and Zach do this. Let's have maybe 10 more people to do it, right? And where will those 10 more people, he will say, okay, you finish UK, you finish US. Where the 10 more other people will do, maybe France, maybe South Korea, maybe Germany, maybe Sweden, maybe Finland, right? So you start doing the campaign with more and more people as you start seeing success. Okay. So what will happen if Jean-Marie contacted 1,000, connected with 300, engaged with 100, but 0 people converted, and Jean-Marie also, 0 people, Zach also 0 people converted. Nobody, bought the product. So which means there is a problem. At this time, the client can say, guys, thank you very much. We tried to do a job, but the job didn't work. Is this a possibility, Jean-Marie and Zach? This can happen. You can work hard, but produce 0 results. I mean, $0 results. You have produced, this result. There are more than so many people have connected back with you. You have also produced this result. A lot of people are engaging with you, but nobody, converted, 0, right? So the client can tell 2 things. The client can say, look, we tried and, it didn't work, right? and therefore, see, but the client will still pay us, because at the end of the day, this is not in our hands. Okay, this conversion is not in our hands. It depends on how good the product is, how good the video is, how good the buying experience is. So many factors. We cannot control anybody from converting, but we definitely can control how many people we are contacting every day. It's in Kisha's hands. It's in Zach's hands. How many people are contacting? How many people are connected back? If you are doing this well, this also will happen. How many are engaging? It depends on how good your answers are. These three are in our hands and we can control it. But who will ultimately buy the product is not in our hand. It's definitely not in your hand. Yes, it is in your hand in some way, but ultimately they have to make the purchase. Okay. So this is how we are going to do. We're going to start with a small number, 2 people. But if Zach and Jean-Marie are able to achieve some results, even small results, even if Zach, Jean-Marie does 1 customer and Zach does 1 customer, that's it. That result is good enough for the client to say, no, let's go for the next thing. Let's connect with the next 600 people. 200 of them are connecting back. 50 of them are engaging. 5 people are buying. Fantastic. Let's do this more. So basically, as you keep connecting and making it better, there will be more and more conversions. And then, the client would expand the team. So the team is starting with just Zach and Jean-Marie, and then it will expand, with, 10 people, 20 people, maybe even 200 people. We don't know, right? It will just keep expanding, because that, he has 1.85 million people to talk to. If you have 1.85 million people, he needs at least 185 people to talk to all of them in 1 year. That's how many people he needs. 185 people. And even with 185 people, he will need 1 full year to talk about why should he not hire 185 people from us? All he wants to know is whether the stuff that we are doing is going to produce results or not. Even if it produces very, very basic results, he will go for the entire people, because it's really important. The product that he's launching, is needed for all these people. I hope I answer the question and you guys understand. So this is an important sheet, and so while Zach and Jean-Marie are attacking this division, the cosmetics thing, what about Zamzam and Mohammed? What are they going to do? So they're going to attack the top down. I mean, you can see this, right? All the chief executives, across all segments, and the chief operating officer and CFOs of all industries. So these are the 2 other lists that Mohammed and Zamzam are going to do in the same fashion. Start with US, UK, Canada, etc., etc. So we will have to split everything, into 2000. So I'll sort of pause here. I think it's really important you guys get this, and and even more important to understand what is this matrix, how many of you are contacting, connecting, engaging, and converting. I'll try and show an example quickly, what this means actually, but any questions? Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, Anis.
Yeah.
Can you hear me, guys?
We can hear you very well.
Perfect. So actually, I think the approach is very clear, as you just made us understood. But I think we should also, like when we're having meetings with clients, we need to make them understand. We really need to define what success, look like for them, and for us based on what we are giving as a service to them. Because if you look at as you said, we are not responsible for the client to buy the product, because you may have a very high number of people connecting back with you, and the engagement is fine, but you are not the person responsible. Like, you are not the person to influence them to buy the product or so on. Because the first thing here, the engagement is all about, you need to close meeting. We want them to close meeting with the potential client. But now when they go in their meetings, maybe the client is not like, convinced, is not maybe based on the product rate or the product quality and all these things. But at the end of the day, after 6 months, you go in the dashboard, you find the connections are good, the engagement is, connections are there, engagement is fine, but conversion is zero.
Not there.
So then you're like how do you, because we need to set our limit, like how do you rate step up, based on what are you going to rate step up? The step up fail or step up succeed? We have to put this clear in front of them.
Very true, very true, very true. I want somebody to argue. Mama, can you think of the argument that Bahana made? Can you think of why that argument is a good argument? It's a very practical argument.
Yes,
but,
just to finish.
Please go ahead.
Just to finish, of course, client not buying the product, there might be different reasons. Let's say the message you are putting in front of them, and maybe the way we are marketing the product and all these things. But if the engagement is there and the client is able to meet with the chief executive officer, and we have engagement, we have meetings and all these things, but nothing is happening, no conversions, and then we need to question the company as well, their product, not So that's what I wanted to.
No, I want somebody to also argue against what you're saying. So what Bahana is saying is this, Mohammed, see if you can make a counter argument against this. What Bahana is saying is, look, we can only control what is in our hands. We cannot control the final sale, the final sale of the client's product. That's not in my hand, right? That's what Bahana is saying. And therefore, as long as people are connecting back, people are having a conversation, I have won the game. Or rather, it should be called a success, right? And Bahana is saying, okay, you should have a metric for this success. As long as I agree completely with him, but there is one flaw, or rather one problem in that argument. Can anybody think what is the problem in that argument? Like, I contacted, I connected, I engaged, but nobody converted. But that's not my problem, right? Nobody converted or nobody bought the final product is not my problem. How can I take responsibility for the last problem? That's what Bahana is saying, right? Can anybody make an argument against it, or can you make a comment for it?
Yeah. Hello.
Yes, Jamari.
I think we can have the product review. Yeah. The biggest challenge can be based on the product we are selling, and of course, the client must have a blame on us. Though it's not on our hands, but always clients will blame us, will think that the work we are doing is not effective because
exactly. Jean-Marie, the client will never blame us, because we are doing the work, because nobody can blame us for anything. But at the end of the day, it is like this, guys. I'll give you an example. Let's take StepUp itself as an example, okay? Jean-Marie, you have reached out to at least 1,000 potential clients so far. At least 500 potential clients, Jean-Marie, so far.
Almost 500.
Almost 500 clients. So Jean-Marie, on behalf of StepUp, you have reached out to 500 potential clients, and at least 100 of them connected back with you. At least 100 connected back with you. At least 50 of them are having conversation with you. At least 5 of them agreed to have a meeting with you.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, if nobody hired you, Jean-Marie, if nobody paid the $100 and hired you, it does not matter how many other people did everything with you. Your attempt to work the scenario has sort of it succeeded in connecting, it succeeded in engaging, but it failed in converting. You can keep on giving me all kind of arguments, but the outcome is a failure. So you can't, Jean-Marie, celebrate your, you can be happy, like you can be happy that you as an individual have connected with some 10,000 senior executives in Kenya or UK. Yeah. So, one day you will get the benefit of all these things. But at the end of the day, if you don't convert, then you have failed in the last thing. In the case of Step Up, even that last one was your responsibility. You understand, Jean-Marie? Conversion is not the responsibility of a client. Conversion is the responsibility of you in the case of Step Up. Are you with me?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. So put the same story, from a client perspective. Okay. So in fact, this is what I'm thinking, Bahana. You asked for some numbers, right? The numbers that I'm thinking right now is this. It's a large number, but we are going with it. We are saying if we reach out to 10,000 people in 1 year, we want to see 30% engagement. Okay, as in 30%, connecting back and engaging with us, and 3% converting. So if we send 10,000 messages, we will have 3,000 people connecting back, and 30 people buying our product. So if Jean-Marie has sent 1,000 people, 1,000 requests, 300 people should connect with him, and 30 people should buy his service. Is it right? Or no, not 30, 3. No, 30. This is correct. So if you reach to 1,000, 300 should connect and 30 should buy your product. This is our formula. Maybe we can reduce this formula to 1%, or this can be reduced, but we want to work. We are starting with this formula basically, Bahana. So I hope you're getting the answer. So this is very important, guys. Anybody has any comment on this? Because it is super important. Because I'll tell you one more thing, Bahana. See, the client will not fire you, okay, because you didn't achieve the conversion. You understand? Okay. He will continue to work with you because the value that you are creating, from this 30% engagement is very good already. It's extremely good for him. That's why if you look at our value creation dashboard, we didn't say zero value, right? The value creation dashboard here is some value, right? When you're connecting is also $10, when you're engaging is $20, but converting is very large, $1,000, right? So you are creating a value. But let me tell you, they will not, Bahana, if you are not converting. At the end of the day, if you are not converting, if this number is 0 for you, where is the thing that we did just now? Yeah, if the number is 0, where is the sheet? Okay, fair enough. If the number is 0, then the client will, if this number, we have converted, this is 0, and he will not scale your project. If you remember, what did we tell with I think it was area 9, and I think it was Fryer, right? Yeah, this is what we were looking at. Yeah, so we were looking at this, right? If Jean-Marie is 0 this month, 0 next month, 0 next month, every month is 0. Okay, what he will do, and Zach is also 0, 0, 0, for screen. They will not scale this 2 people team to 20 people team. The day Jean-Marie starts to get let's say 5 conversions, right, and Zach gets 5 conversions like this, the client sees a trend and says, yes, let's now bring in 20 more people. And if all 20 of you start converting, the client will say, let's bring 200 people, because the client will immediately know that he has so many people to connect to. he needs 185 people to do the job. But if two of you, if Jacques and Jean-Marie become successful, then he will throw everybody behind them. But if these people are not able to do the conversion, then he will never scale. But he might not get rid of Jacques and Jean-Marie, because they are creating a value. They are creating row number 16 value, row number 18 value. The only value they're not creating is a big value, the converted customer value in row number 20. Is that clear? So the scaling will not happen if you don't convert. The client will just simply just do with just the two of you.
Yes, Anis, thanks a lot. I actually get the point. I understand now. But, we need to learn from what you're actually doing now as Step Up, because, yeah, we want to scale. So we need to get prepared in advance, in case, like, let's say, let's take my own example. I've reached out to around 800, potential clients. But I only have, as we speak now, one meeting scheduled. I've only one meeting for this. Now, let's say if we are working with a client and this is happening, and in 1 or 2 months, 3 months, for example, we are having no conversion at all. We have a counter plan. We have a strategy, risk management plan. So let's say a Step Up, this is, if this something occurs, maybe this is what we plan to do, this is what we can do, or maybe let's look at this, maybe region, or maybe the search, or maybe, something of that sort, so that we don't end up, as the time goes on, and we're like, oh, still, I don't know. That's what I want to know, like.
Absolutely, absolutely.
We send out all these invitations, we get the engagement, but at the end of the day, no conversion. So do we wait until the client tells us, oh guys, there's no conversion, so we are not able to continue? Or we have let's say a tracking, okay guys, when it's 3 months and we've reached to, let's say, 2,000 and we are not seeing a conversion, let's come back to the drawing board and see what is not working. Can we I don't know, that's my thing. We don't want to stay along, yeah.
Kind of plan B.
Yeah, absolutely, very important point. Anybody has any thoughts on it? What Bahana is asking? It's a very important thing. Should you just wait for?
Yeah.
Medical legal unit IMLU now wants the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, IPOA, the Internal Affairs Unit, and the Kenyan National Commission.
Oh my God. Okay. So, yeah, Pascal, you have something to say?
It says quantum reports showed that the six.
So, yeah, thanks. So, yeah, Bahana, anybody has any thoughts on that? What Bahana? So, how long do you wait before you tell the client? Yeah, Kesha, you have something to say?
Yes, as to me, I'm trying to think the thing to do with the failure to conversion. One can be the video of our introduction that we send in our first message. The second will be the website. How
very good, excellent.
Yes, I've presented their material on their website. So if for instance, if the conversion is not met, so we can try to advise her on the video. We can do it on ourselves. We try to restructure it, but on the website we can also try to advise the clients either they can make some modifications to make the website being presentable.
No, Kesha, very, very good point. Very good point. This is what, few things that we can do. We cannot become, super experts on everything, but if the message, so many things we can correct. The message that we are sending could be, not be great. Okay. So we can, try to look at, how we can change the message, isn't it? Or we can, the video that we are sending can be.
I have an idea. We have
Pascal, you have a
kind
question?
of yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, sure. I have just an idea. I think we kind of have a team after a certain period of time, and there's no reaction or any patches. Then we settle down and find out what's wrong. Like we work on it as we are the clients or with the potential clients. Like find out if the video,
Pascal, I've just muted you. Can you please type your question, Pascal? You know, it's very hard to hear you because there is a lot of noise coming in from your side. Just can you type your question, you know, in the chat?
Bulletins 7 and 9 p.m. Let's move on.
Pascal, can you type your question, Pascal? Because you know there's a lot of noise. I can't hear you. I cannot hear your question, Pascal. Can you please type it? Yes, Kisha.
Really,
Yes, Kisha. Sorry, Kisha, I think not able to hear you, but let me just quickly, you know, answer the question.
I'm saying it was by mistake that I raised. Huh?
Oh, okay, cool, no problem. Yeah. So let me look at Pascal's, you know, thing also. But before that, you know, yeah. So before that, I think we can correct the message, we can correct the video, we can even tell them, which is why, you know, in fact, to Muhammad and to Jean-Marie, I sent that video, you know, the Freyer video that they want to campaign for the cosmetics. I sent the video to you guys and asked you for your comment, because you know I feel that you know it's not in a great shape actually. So if you look at this, you know, I just sent it. This is the client conversation that we are having, and you know I had sent this video. You remember, right? I wanted to, you know, take your opinion, but nobody responded to me actually. So you know there is this video that, you know, the client has put together, which will be used by all the people, you know, to launch the campaign. And I wanted you guys to tell me whether this is a good video, whether this will, you know, really result in conversion. So have a look at all these things so that, you know, you will be able to, you know. So yeah, that's the thing, right? Bahana, what you will typically try and do is, you know, maybe, you know, one thing that we agreed with Kuram yesterday, right? That could be a great answer. He said every month let us do a review call. For me, I think that is the greatest success in that meeting that we had yesterday, because in every month we can learn from him a little bit. We can, you know, have an opportunity to increase the number of people. We can show the results back to him, right? So the best way to increase the result is maybe every month or every 2 months, we have a meeting with the client to show our results, to tell him the feedback that we are getting about his video, etc., etc. You know, so that's what is I will do, right? You know, there is no magic that we can do, Bahana. It's the message, it's the video, and how we are engaging with them. So these are the three things that we can learn more and more and more. And you know, if the client's products are not great, then you know we can't do anything about it. You know, if people don't want to buy his products, what can we do, right? The team will not scale to a huge number, you know, at that point in time. Oh, okay. Bahana has a mic issue. Okay, Pascal, what are you asking? You're saying, you know, can we have a team to inspect the challenge? And why it may not be having people going for the next step? Yeah, you're saying, you know, can we have a team? Okay. The challenge of, you know, not, yeah, that can be done. So this is the team. So, you know, this team that we are right now, you know, together have to inspect the challenge, you know, the challenge of, you know, why Bahana is not able to convert, you know, the final results. or why Keisha is not able to, finally do the conversion, or why Isra is not able to do, or why Muhammad is not able to do. So yeah, we can have these team meetings and discuss and decide. But I think more than the team meeting, the client meeting is where you have to really bring out the issue. You don't have to be afraid. You should never be afraid of telling the client the truth. The truth is there is no conversion, and you should be able to boldly tell the client, this is not working, shall we try a different approach. The more and more we discuss the challenge with the client and get an answer together, we will be more successful. Yes, of course, we can also discuss within our team, which is what I did last week. I sent you guys the video. Why did I send that video? I wanted you to take a look at it, and tell me, what do you think of that video, right? Because Jean-Marie, you and Mohammed and all of you guys are going to do something with that video from next couple of days, right? And I wanted you to know, what do you guys think of it, right? And yes, we can do that. So I think in terms of yeah, that's pretty much it, Bana. I think it's fine. You can drop. But if there is any more questions, I can do it. But otherwise, let's get prepared. So just both to you, Mohammed and Jean-Marie, because you're the only two who are there. Just be active. In fact, the advice that I'll tell you and Jean-Marie, you can become active on the WhatsApp channel with the client. The client is really getting warmed up. Initially the client was also very cold, but now he's getting warmed up. We had a meeting with him. Is everybody's nice and warm? Just you can just chat with them. Actually, I think is really okay to do that. And one small advice to Keisha. One second, Mohammed. So one small advice to Keisha and Isra. You guys are actually talking too much. With the client. The thing is, what we do. So Bahana is another example, right? Bahana doesn't talk to the client for 1 month. He just drops only the results. Every 1 month, he will just say, we have achieved all these things, right? Whereas Keisha and Isra are talking to the client every day 5 times. So it's very good, Keisha. It's very good what you're doing, but try to keep also the conversation to a minimum. Like for example, these 5 people have responded today. That's it. Because we want our conversation to happen through the Excel and not through chit chat. You have to remember, these are chief executives of companies. Right? We have to remember that we should not be taking a lot of their time. We have to just tell them the minimum thing. I mean, Bahana, what Bahana does is too much, right? He only talks once in a month. But what you are doing, Keisha, you're talking 5 times in a day. Not wrongly, you're talking only because the client's getting a lot of engagement and a lot of customers are asking questions. So you're not doing it just because you want to have a conversation. So it's good that you're doing it, but you should reduce it to maybe once a day, because we don't want the client to think that, oh my God, after engaging these people, I have so much work to do. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, Keisha.
So yes, when we came on board, I think we will have been given some instruction on what to do, so that we don't mess up. But my conversation happens most when I'm stuck somewhere, and particularly I don't even go direct to that platform. I inbox you before I go to the platform, and what I drop there mostly it is some messages that I've gotten from the LinkedIn.
No, I know that.
Need
Keisha,
a quick,
Keisha. Yeah, Keisha, I know that. So what you're doing is not wrong at all. What you're doing, if I ask the client will say, very good. I'm so pleased with Keisha that, he's responding, like in lightning speed, He's telling me everything that is happening on the channel. But don't do that. I'm telling you from my experience, it's good to have maybe once a day conversation. It's not good to have, like, because these guys are supposed to do some job, just not respond to our questions. So the client might like what you're doing, Kesha, but it's better to just slowly pull it back. Even you are doing it, Kesha, so much because you have only one client today. Once you start getting 2, 3, like Vahana has some 4 clients, and he cannot do conversation with all the 4 clients every day. He'll be dead by now, right? But what he's doing is also wrong. You can't talk to a client only once in a month. Right? Yeah, Mohammed. Hey, sorry, I thought, Mohammed, you had something to say, because I thought you came on the video to say something. Hello, Mohammed.
Yes. No, I mean, I just wanted to see everyone's face. I like to be on camera so that I can look at people. But yeah, no, I'm slowly learning from others, Bahana, and also others on the call. But yeah, and the way that you explain the concepts, and the spreadsheets you have, I think for us in the refugee space, sometimes we are used to talking, but there's very few action that actually happens. So I think it's moving away from that to this the spreadsheet. Let your efforts do the talking, and maybe reach to the client maybe once a week, have a weekly meeting where you update each other. Yeah.
Absolutely. No, I think I'm also learning, because I don't know exactly what is the right thing to do. Okay, I'm watching what Kesha is doing and Isra is doing. I'm also watching what Bahana is doing. I'm watching the client, what they are doing. How happy they are. See, people love it. People love the work, right? Otherwise, why would they continue with Bahana for 2 years now, right? They love the work that these people we are doing for them. They love it. You never know how we are helping them, right? One of the client always tells me that because of Bahana he got a new job. Big job, a huge job. But Bahana never tried to help the client to get a new job. Bahana was simply connecting with all the people. But the client got a very big job, based on what Bahana did, right? So you never know where the where the wind is going to blow, right? But we keep doing the work, and we keep. So just one more quick point, guys, before I close this call. If you remember our many this slide is a very important slide, right? If you remember, we are talking 90% of the time in all our calls. Okay, step 4, identifying the target audience. So if you look at the Excel, right, the Excel that we have done, it basically does step 4, step 5, step 6, and step 7. It basically allows us to do these steps. We are not talking about step 1, step 2, and step 3 at all, right? I have spoken about it. It's there as videos, but we are not talking in these calls. Okay, so remember, you need to also do these things. You need to convert videos and stuff like that. So maybe next week we can take the video that I shared with you here. This video. Please have a look at it and think about it, especially Mohammed, you and Jean-Marie and Zach and Zamzam. You guys are going a lot of things. This video is going to determine a lot of things for you guys, right? Whether you're going to be successful in your campaign or not, right? So have a look at this and don't tell this to the client yet. Okay, just tell this to me in the group. What do you think about this video? And what we will do next week is we will try to create our own a video just on ourselves. So the client has got a big marketing department which is creating all these big videos. But next week, you, me, Mohammed, you, Jean-Marie, Zach, and Zamzam, the 4 of you, and of course the rest of them as well, we will create a video for this particular problem, the cosmetics thing, right? We will sit together and create a video. and show the client maybe 2 weeks later, because this is what the client's team has done. We will do our video, and we will try to ask the client next week, we'll campaign with your video. Maybe Zach can use their video, and Jean-Marie can use our video, and we can see who is getting better response, right? So just remember, it's all of these steps are important, and many times, the step that you keep on repeating is 4, 5, 6, 7. You do the step one time, 1, 2, 3, you just do it one time, but step 4, 5, 6, 7, you do it every single day. Okay, so don't forget the previous steps. These are also important. You need to become a master in these steps also. It's not good only if you do these other steps. Okay, so just remember that. And that's pretty much it for today, guys. I'll continue the conversation on WhatsApp, and then we will take it from there. Any last questions from anybody? Kesha, you've raised your hand? You want to ask something? Otherwise, we can close the call.
No, I think it's okay.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Mohammed. Thank you, Jean-Marie. Thank you, Bahana, for joining again. I don't know why you joined again. You wanted to go. Okay. All right. We'll see you guys next week. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Bye.